Hey guys, welcome back to Ignite Motorrad. I'm Devashish Puranik and today I'm very excited to be at KTM-Husqvarna Karve Road to review one of the most important bikes which has just arrived in the adventure touring motorcycling scene. But before we proceed, please like, comment, subscribe and share all the videos you liked in our channel so you provide us your greatest support because we will be needing it. So now getting to the bike which we're going to review today. It's actually the love child of two existing KTM models and it's quite funky and really utilitarian as well. That's right, today we're reviewing the new KTM Adventure 250. Stay tuned. So what exactly is the KTM Adventure 250? Is it a scaled down Adventure 390 or is it a Duke 250 playing fancy dress as an adventure tourer? Well, to be truthful, it's a bit of both. What this bike basically is the Adventure 390's body and chassis with the engine of the Duke 250. That's quite a combination. I really can't wait to see how it's like to ride. I've always loved the way KTMs look. They're about that switchblade funky appeal, those bright colors and that youthful character. And that design language in an adventure tourer just makes me go wow every time I see an Adventure 250 or 390 because it's just unlike anything else on the road. It looks purpose built while at the same time retaining that funky KTM character. It's a perfect blend. Look at it from the sides or the back and there's no obvious giveaway that this is the smaller 250 and not the big 390. However, once you get round to the front of the bike and see the headlight, you're left in no doubt that this is the Adventure 250. A conventional halogen with LED DRLs is on illumination duty here rather than the 390's funky all LED unit. The differences between the Adventure 250 and the Adventure 390 do not end there. There are quite a lot of cost-cutting measures which are evident once you get more accustomed to the bike. For example, the handlebar is now made of steel and not aluminium. The screen is not a TFT anymore and you have to make with an all-digital LCD unit which removes all possibilities for Bluetooth connectivity. The throttle is a mechanical conventional throttle and not a ride-by-wire system which you get on the Adventure 390. Unlike the ADV 390, the 250 does not come equipped with traction control or cornering ABS. It still gets two ABS modes which are road and off-road. Off-road mode basically disengages the rear wheel's ABS so you can slide about a bit. There is no quick shifter on the 250 either and the tires are MRFs and not the higher quality Metzellers you get on the 390. The front brake pad is non-sintered material and braking performance therefore is not as good as its big brother. Now obviously the most massive change in this motorcycle compared to the 390 is in the name. It has the 248cc engine from the Duke 250 as opposed to the 373cc engine from the Duke 390 which you get in the ADV 390. However, the weights of the 250 and the 390 are identical at 177 kgs. But in this, you have to do with 13.5 PS less than the 390 and you are going to notice that if you've ridden the 390 before. So once you saddle up onto the 250, you're going to feel that lack of power. Even though the engine as a standalone unit comes off as quite decent actually, when you compare them, this one doesn't stand a chance to its big brother. The suspension is awesome at ironing out bad bits of road at high speed and can handle a fair bit of rough roading as long as the going doesn't get too tough. The suspension unit is derived from the 390 and is a WP long travel suspension and the rear also comes with preload adjustability. It's very easy to stand up and off-road on this bike because of its superior ergonomics which are tuned for off-roading and touring. So this is an adventure tourer. So by definition, you're going to be spending a lot of time on it. So the seating configuration has got to be absolutely epic and it is. The rider seat is wide, firm and spacious and you have lots of room to move around as well. The pillion seat is also extremely generous and you can put a lot of luggage on the back as well and strap it on effectively with these generously proportioned grab rails. So in the space and seating department, the ADV 250 is on point. While riding, you do miss the awesome TFT display as you have to make do with a full digital LCD unit, but you still get goodies like a 12-volt charging socket and an adjustable windscreen. Although the windscreen can't be adjusted on the fly, you need to get off and do it. For touring, the riding position is of utmost importance, and I can tell you with complete guarantee that the upright, comfortable seating position of the ADV 250 is going to leave you strain-free after even a long ride, and you're going to be without as much fatigue as you would have had on other types of bikes, because the seats, the seating position, the ergonomics, they're all designed to uplift the entire touring experience. Now, of course, you can't expect 390 levels of power and refinement from the 250 because, well, it's a 250. Talking about the engine, there are vibrations when you go touring sometimes, but they don't kick in until around 6 to 6,500 RPM. So your comfortable touring speed without vibrations is slightly limited. So you can't really tour the bike at its true top speed because then you will face the vibes in the pegs, the handles and the seats. So while you'll have to tour a little slowly than the max potential of the bike, that speed is still reasonably quick and you won't be falling behind of anybody. In fact, you'll be ahead of the pack. I found the Adventure 250 quite lively and fun to ride. That said, the engine is at its best in mid and high RPM bands. The low end is not where it is at its happiest, so it's best if you keep it in its happy place for the best experience. As a standalone performer, the 248cc engine comes off as a very decent and fun unit in the Adventure 250, but if you've ridden the Adventure 390, which weighs the same, you won't be able to ride the 250 without wanting more grunt. Let's get to the gearbox of the ADV 250. Now, the Adventure 250 shares its gearbox and even gearing ratios with the Duke 250. We've already reviewed the Duke 250 on our channel. I'll drop the link down in the description, so do check that out as well. Now, I've always had a thing with KTM gearboxes. They're epic when you have a long straight, but in the city, they can be a little bit of a nuisance. The gearbox unit itself is a slick 6-speed unit with a slipper clutch on the ADV, but I have a little issue with the gearing, as I said earlier. So if you're on the straight, you have to shift really quickly because KTM engines are really high and quick to rev up to the red line, so you have to shift really fast. But when you're in the city, because the engine is so high revving, you tend to shift very frequently and there is quite a lot of engine knocking if there is a speed drop on a particular gear, so you have to downshift pretty quickly as well. So if you're accustomed to KTM gearboxes, that's great, but if you're new to the KTM brand, this will take a bit of getting used to, but hey, if you love the bike, you can get used to anything. So the gearbox, all in all, is a good unit, but will take some getting used to in urban areas. To summarize whether this is a good deal or not, we need to take a look at KTM's existing lineup. To do that, we need to put some numbers on the table. The 250 Adventure goes for 2.88 lakhs on the road Pune. Let's talk about its bigger brother, the Adventure 390. This bike goes for 3.6 lakhs on the road Pune, which is 72,000 more than its quarter-liter younger brother. What do you get for the money? You get the epic 373.15cc 43.5 horsepower engine and a whole host of other features and performance upgrades such as the tires, which I mentioned earlier, which you don't get on the 250. So should you spend the extra money? That depends on whether you're new to the motorcycling space for rough roading and off-roading, or you're already a bit of an expert yourself and prefer a more advanced machine. Let's talk about the Duke 390. The Duke 390 is priced only 30,000 more than the Adventure 250. You get the awesome 43.5 bhp engine and a host of other features as well, and a lot of technology. So why should you get the 250? Well, if you're gonna go touring, the 250 has an epic suspension setup, amazing ride quality, really good posture, and that basic touring body which is borrowed from the 390. You don't get that on the Duke. So it makes a pretty compelling case for itself, even among its own siblings. Let's compare the Adventure 250 with its heart brother, the one with which it shares its engine, the Duke 250. Both have the same 248cc power plant and the same transmission and gear ratios. The Adventure is priced at approximately 30,000 rupees more than the Duke. Why do you pay the extra? Similar reasons for the 390 Duke. You get the whole touring package. You can do mild off-roading, you can do trailing. You have a much better posture, a better seat for touring. You have more space. You can hook on more luggage and better suspension for even urban commute. We live in India. Let's be honest, the roads are not that great. You need that WP long travel suspension at the front and at the back. So then, who does the Adventure 250 really cater to? If you're looking for a KTM, it does kind of make sense to you. If you want a rough roader, a trail rated bike, but you're hesitant to spend extra 72K on the 390, 250 makes sense for you, but you do have to compromise on a lower capacity engine and a lot of feature degradation. And if you want a Duke 250, but you want more comfort, you want to go touring every now and then, you want to strap on some luggage, and well, you realize that an adventure bike is probably the best option in those massive potholes which just haven't been filled out properly, the Adventure 250 is the bike for you. Huge thanks to KTM-Husqvarna Karve Road for making this beautiful bike available to us for the purpose of this review. Contact them by dialing the number below and book the KTM or Husqvarna bike you've always dreamed of owning.